afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Smart Start, the program that takes you through your pre-orientation process as you prepare to begin your very first year of study with us at the UWI St. Augustine Campus. As always, we would like to acknowledge and give a very special shout out to those students joining us for the first time, be it right here in Trinidad and Tobago or across islands in the Caribbean or any of our international territories. We say a special welcome to you. Welcome to FYE, your first year experience at the UWI St. Augustine. And of course, for students that were here with us at our last 4 Smart Start sessions, yes, I too cannot believe that it's been 4 sessions so far. We want to say welcome back, and we are truly honored that you have all made the UWI St. Augustine campus your choice for learning. And of course, through the FYE program, we are committed to ensuring that you are successful in your first year and that you have a dynamic and truly rewarding university experience. I'm Gerald Alder, Manager of Student Engagement at the Division of Student Services and Development, and it is my absolute pleasure, students, to welcome you this afternoon on behalf of the entire team at our campus. Particularly for our first-time students today, we want to let you know that FYE is our campus's new student orientation program, planned just for you to ensure that you are successful in your first year of study with us. We understand that transitioning to university life is a process, and so through FYE, you will be engaged and exposed to quite a number of useful resources and exciting initiatives like this one that will work to get you settled, comfortable, and equipped with all that you need to have a strong and solid foundation for the university journey ahead. Our challenge for you in this first year is to discover your power and create your future. Now, Smart Start is one of our FYE initiatives, particularly designed to meet your early informational needs, as we understand how important it is for you to have a strong foundation of knowledge and adequate information every step of the way to help you navigate this important transition to university. Today is our 5th and final session, and yes, we are a bit sad, but also excited to just engage you in the exciting things that we have coming up in the next few weeks. And of course, if you miss any of our sessions for Smart Start, we encourage you to visit our FYE YouTube channel for the recordings. So for students that were here with us last week, you'd remember that we looked at academic readiness, and you also had an opportunity to meet members of your respective faculty for the very first time, who gave you a step-by-step guide on the academic advising process that you will soon be involved in. On today's agenda, we have some extra special guests with us who you will soon come to know as members of the Guild Council. With us today is Guild President and her team, who will kick off today's session, or you may hear from them a little later on. And also joining us today is a cross-disciplinary team at our campus, most of whom you've met in our previous sessions. But today, we are all here to help you prepare your checklist by recapping key bits of information and briefly sharing some pertinent reminders with you as you prepare to begin the new semester in just a few weeks. So if you have not already guessed it, student, yes, today is all about active listening and note-taking. As always, during the session, we ask that you engage with us in the chat and take note of all of the important information that will be shared with you. We also ask that when not speaking, you will keep your microphone muted, and should you have a question or comment to direct to any one of our presenters, please indicate by using the raise hand feature on your screen so that you can be called upon and given the opportunity to make your contribution. So now that you've been briefed and you know exactly what to expect today, it is my pleasure to invite our very first presenter to the virtual stage. This afternoon, we are recapping fees, and so to share a summary presentation with you on fees and the payment process, please help me welcome our campus's Senior Financial Manager of Student Accounts, Mrs. Caroline Gooding. Mrs. Gooding, over to you.
My name is Korah Howard. I am one of the accounting supervisors in Brsary Student Accounts and Receivables section, and I'll be representing Mrs. Gooding, who is the Senior Financial Manager. So we are just going to summarize today matters regarding fees and financing, right? So we're going to start with fees. As it stands, there are 3 categories of fees. You may have compulsory fees, tuition fees, or you may also have hall fees, right? If you decide to stay on hall. Compulsory fees are mandatory, and these are due at the beginning of every academic year. So we have a breakdown here: the guild fee, ID card, which is first issue only, so you pay that one time. Caution money, the year of entry only. And this is refundable at the end of your program, which is $500. You also have group health plan, which is $100, personal accident insurance of $20, and student amenities fees, which is $500 per academic year. Tuition fees are based on the faculty for which you're registered, and is per credit fee, right? So depending on what course you're registering for and how many credits that they carry, you would use this as a baseline to calculate the cost for that particular course for which you're registering, right? So your faculty booklet would entail more details as to how many credits each course carries, right? So food and agriculture would be $350 per credit, science and technology $350, humanities and education $400, faculty of social sciences $400, engineering $500, faculty of law is $450. Medical sciences and academy of sports is self-financing, right? So as I said, further details could be found in the faculty booklet, as well as our financial information booklet, which could be found on our Brsary website. So FYE. Some of you may have heard of FYE before, probably it's new to some of you, but FYE, it's a new system which was introduced, I believe it was 2021, and it was designed to allow our students to gain automatic financial clearance once it is that they have registered for that semester. So enrolling in FYE is mandatory because you must have financial clearance once you have registered for the semester. Financial clearance allows you access to the library, it allows you access to gain your student ID card, vehicle pass, it allows you access to exams, and most importantly, at the end of your program, it allows you to be able to graduate, right? So you must enroll in FYE so you could gain financial clearance. However, after you've enrolled in FYE, it is a student's responsibility to ensure that they maintain financial clearance. And how do you maintain financial clearance? By ensuring that you submit your registration documents to us at the Brsary on time, right? And that you pay your fees before the deadline date. Yeah. If you do not maintain financial clearance, you risk getting an AR hold on your account, which is an accounts receivable hold, which basically withdraws your financial clearance and prevents you from accessing exams and possibly being able to graduate. So to maintain financial clearance, you must submit your documents to us, and all documents must be submitted via e-courier. So there is no physical submission of documents to the Brsary. The documents have to be submitted via a link, which is e-courier, and details of that could be found on our Brsary website. It is important that you submit your documents using your UWI student email. It is important that you use your UWI student email whenever you're reaching out to anybody from campus, right? Because that is the official means of communication with any reps at the university. So your documents must be submitted as one PDF attachment and ensure that you're using your UWI student email. So to go in a bit of detail with the documents that must be submitted, you must submit a signed fee assessment invoice, which soon you will come to refer to as your fee sheet, right? So it just gives details of the courses that you have registered for the semester, the cost, and you're required to sign. On the bottom of the fee sheet is a place that says student agreement, and there's a line for student signature. And your actual signature must be on the document. So it shouldn't just be a typed signature. Your actual signature must be on that document. You also need to submit a signed A.G.A.T.E application form if you have applied for G.A.T.E funding, right? Your signature on your signed G.A.T.E form must match that which is on your fee assessment invoice. It's important to note as well, once you have applied for G.A.T.E, you could go ahead and submit those documents. So most students wait until their means rate has been confirmed, but you don't need to do that. Once you have applied, you submit your documents to us, so at least we know that you are trying to get the G.A.T.E funding. We would also be made aware of once your means rate has been confirmed. If you are benefiting from scholarship or any sponsorship, you need to submit that letter to us as well. If you have made any payments, you need to submit proof of payment to us as well. However, if you pay via F.Y.E, the payment hits your account immediately, so you do not need to submit proof of payment, right? But if you use any one of the other means of payments, you must submit that proof to us so we could track the funds and ensure that it is applied against your account. Also, if you're a regional student benefiting from economic costs, your letter from your government also needs to be submitted to us. So the list of documents listed here needs to be submitted as one PDF attachment to us via courier every semester once you have registered. Right, so just to give a little summary of the method of payments as well, like I mentioned before, you could pay via F.Y.E, right, which is our online portal via My Secure Area. You could use a credit card or a debit chip card that allows you to make online payments. Once you have done that, it would hit your account immediately, so you do not need to submit proof of payment to us. You could also pay at any branch of Republic Bank using the U.S. student deposit slip, which is available at the bank. When you're submitting proof of payment to us, you need to submit the front and back of the deposit slip, right? You could also make payments via interbank transfers using your online banking. And for any foreign students, your payments to us would be done via wire transfer. So here I also have the links for our Brsary website that you could familiarize yourself with, and a link to our service desk. All students who are seeking to get onto us, you could call us on the phone, but I would not recommend emailing us our personal emails that you may probably find on the staff directory, but you use service desk because this is our official means for communicating with the student, right? And we have come to the end of our presentation. If you have any other questions, we'll answer as the program progresses. So thank you, Jarrell. Back over to you.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Howard. And for students that are now just joining us, we are recapping most of the information shared with you over the last few weeks. So you just heard from Ms. Howard representing student accounts within the Brsary at our campus. And I know that Ms. Howard and the team will respond to some of the questions that you're having in the chat. And just remember that most, if not all of these topics were covered in previous weeks. And if you've missed any of those recordings, you can always head over to our FYE YouTube channel once the session has come to an end. And of course, at the end of today's exercise, we do have an open Q&A. So feel free to direct your questions there as well. Okay, so Ms. Howard, thank you so very much. And I know that we do have some questions coming over through the chat, which I'll give you an opportunity to attend to as well. All right, so I want to now move on to obtaining your student ID card. So for persons that may have been here with us in previous sessions, you were introduced to the registration process. And if you'd remember, obtaining your ID card is one of those steps within that process. And so here with us to share details about this particular process is IT officer within the Office of Campus Registrar, Mr. Jean-Pierre Caille, who will share with you at this time. Mr. Caille, over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Jarrell, for the introduction. So basically, I'm going to just talk briefly about the ID card process, what you need to do as a new student to get your ID card. And it's really a straightforward process. And we try to make it as seamless as possible for you all to go through this process. Now, the ID card process takes place at the end of the registration process. As Jarrell said, you'll just had a presentation from finance, from Brsary, in terms of getting financial clearance. You'll talk about G.A.T.E as well. So after you've completed that process and you've also selected your courses, you will be required to register for your ID card. Now, the process involves uploading a photo online. At this time, what we do is we would send you credentials via email once you've got an offer with the university. That email gives you all the information in terms of the website to log into and the login credentials. And basically what you will do is use those credentials, connect to the website, and then upload your photo. On our website at idcard.sta.uwi.edu, we have a guide which tells you the guidelines for uploading a photo and what is acceptable photos for the ID card. So for instance, it has to be on a white background, it must not have any filters, etc. And that guide explains all the details of the type of photos that we expect that you would submit to put on your ID card. Once you've uploaded, we validate those photos. That process usually happens pretty quickly. You would get an email saying once the photo has been validated, or your photo is validated and it is being processed. If, however, during the validation process, your photo is not accepted for whatever reason, whether it was blurry, it didn't meet some of the other criteria, then you would be required to upload a new photo. And you'll be able to log in with the same credentials and upload the new photo. Once you've completed that process and your photo is accepted and validated, the next step will be to collect the ID card. Basically, once you've gotten that email saying, your photo is valid, you can go ahead and make an appointment to collect the ID card. It's on the website. Like I said before, idcard.sta.uwi.edu. And at that website, you can also make the appointment. Again, once the appointment is made, you will need to collect the ID card at our office on campus, in the ID card office. You have to walk with a form of national ID, driver's permit, passport, or ID card, which we'll use to validate the person receiving the card with the photo that was uploaded. Again, if you have questions about the process, you can email us. Our email address is idcard.help@sta.uwi.edu, and we'll respond to your questions. What I could do is put the website and the email address in the chat so that everyone's familiar with it. Also, like I said, make sure that you follow your registration guide, because like I said, the ID card is the last stage, the last step in the ID card, in the registration process. So if you all have questions, I'll be willing to take it at the end when Jarrell has reached that stage. So Jarrell, back over to you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Caille. So students, I hope that you've been paying attention. Remember, today is active listening. It's very, very important. Again, we are just recapping things because we've spent some time sharing details on most of these processes with you over the last few weeks. All right. So this should not be new to you, but definitely for students that are joining us for the first time, we encourage you to hop on over to our FYE YouTube channel after this session so that you can spend some time really with the details that have been shared in previous sessions. All right. So we just heard from Mr. Caille, who shared some information with you on the ID card process. And just a reminder that this is part of the registration process that you will soon be involved in closer to the start of the semester. Okay, so I know that Mr. Caille will engage with you in the chat as well, sharing information on the website that you can access for more details, as well as the email address that you can reach out to should you have any queries. So I am seeing Mrs. Lovelace back on my screen. And again, Mrs. Lovelace is from the Ministry of Education's funding division. And Mrs. Lovelace is here to recap a bit about the G.A.T.E program. And I know that once she's done that, you will have some questions that she will attend to in the chat also. So Mrs. Lovelace, I'm happy to invite you at this time, and over to you.
Thank you, Jarrell. I want to make sure that everyone is hearing me.
Yes, we are.
I seem to be getting a frozen screen ever so often, so please bear with me. Over the past few weeks, many students, if not all of you who are logged on here today, would have heard various bits of information as it pertains to your life at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine Campus. Congratulations to all of you. You have been accepted to read for a degree or a program of study at the UWI, and you have done well. You should give yourselves a round of applause for this achievement. So now, as you are moving forward on your pathway, you would have heard from some GATE officers last week as it pertains to your GATE program, the GATE approved programs, the application process, the means test element of the application, as well as higher education loan program or HELP, as many of you might know now. So one of the first things you would have heard was that there are different grants that are offered by the Ministry of Education, and they come in 3 or 4 different ways. This national scholarships, the national bursary, and GATE, which are grants. The government also provides assistance to students in the form of the higher education loan program, which is a loan that is given, a student's loan that is given to students to support that student in both non-tuition and tuition areas. For students who would have received either a scholarship or a national bursary, you will not be required to apply for GATE. However, you should only ensure that you provide the information to your university, because if you apply for GATE and you are receiving a bursary, then you're going to be receiving 2 grants from 2 different places for the same program, and you're going to have a bit of a problem there. Students who have already applied for GATE and have received a notice of a national bursary, we implore you to please ensure that you sign your contracts with the scholarships division to be able to put through your documents as quickly as possible so that your matter can be clear with the university in terms of your bursary, being a bursary recipient. Other bits of information you would have heard was things like how to apply for GATE. Many of you, if not all, should have already received an e-service ID. And the way you would have gotten that ID is through the TT Connect centers, where you would have provided them with some relevant information as it pertains to your citizenship, birth certificate, ID card, passport. Those are the items that are required for you to receive an e-service ID. You have to be registered in order to access the GATE application via the e-service. Now, your e-service ID is not your student's ID, and your student's ID is not your e-service ID. Your e-service ID is that ID that is used to access online resources via the GATE e-service. You must also be a citizen and between the ages of 18 and 50 for you to be able to access GATE funding. This is important for you to note. You must be fully accepted into an approved program of study. Fully accepted simply means the institution has told you that you don't have any outstanding documents. It is not a provisional acceptance. It is not a conditional acceptance. Once you apply for GATE, and you do not provide a fully accepted acceptance letter, then we are going to either request that or reject your application. It's very simple. Holds, the bursary, Ms. Howard, Korah, spoke a few minutes ago about AR holds. As you start this new life at the University of the West Indies, I would like to advise students to please make yourselves very familiar with the acronyms that are used by your university's bursary, and to understand clearly your holds that are placed on your accounts and the reasons that are given for holds being placed on your accounts. Holds that are placed on a student's account are not placed by GATE. As you go through your life at the university, you're going to hear all of your friends, persons in at a higher level than you are. They're going to tell you about their experiences. Critical to note, holds are not placed on a student's account by GATE. GATE is not a mandatory thing. GATE is not mandatory. Any student who is sitting in this session today and their parents can decide that they do not want to use GATE. If the university does not advise you to apply for GATE, or if you have made a choice to not use GATE, you will not get GATE. It's as simple as that. GATE is given to the student who is requesting GATE and qualifies as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. We will expand on that in more detail as we go along or at the question and answer segment, because I need to also let you all know that GATE is also not guaranteed. Your fee sheet is also it is a UE requirement and not a GATE requirement. All applications that students submit to us, they are assessed based on the policies that govern the GATE program, and students are advised to always contact UE first to clarify your status before assuming an issue that comes to you might be a GATE-related issue. What that does is it helps you to quickly assess your situation and receive a solution. If your matter is actually indeed a GATE-related one, sometimes we will do it very quickly, or the university can direct you to the right person at the right time. In terms of the means test, the means test documents that are required are listed on the FAQs page of the GATE website. Please, we ask all students to ensure that you read the FAQs page. If you have not already done so, read the FAQs page carefully to get some kind of an idea as to what would be required of you, to understand the funding categories that you may qualify in, and your funding eligibility. There are several statuses that you will also see coming through the system in terms of your GATE application form. You, the student, you are advised via email every step of the way on your status. You can also log in to the e-service using your e-service ID and see what your status is at that time. You are encouraged also to ensure that you provide all relevant documents when you are applying for GATE. These documents, just a recap, these documents will include national ID or passport, your birth certificate, your acceptance letter that clearly states that you are accepted into the program of study. In terms of the household income that we require, that would mean we need to see pay slips, salary documents, pension documents of all of the persons who are living in a household in which you reside. Also, it is important for you to note that we want to see the salary slips of both parents of those students who are applying for GATE. In terms of NIS allowances, any other type of pension documents that you may have, we would like to see those documents as part of the means test requirement. Students, I would like to advise that your GATE clearance is granted for 1 academic year of study, and the means test rating is also granted for 1 academic year of study. What does that mean to you, the student at UE? You are required to apply for GATE funding every single semester for the duration of your program. When you do not apply on time, it presents a bigger issue for you, because at that point, you're going to be required to fund yourself if you have not already done so, unless otherwise advised by the GATE office. When a student receives any type of query from the GATE office, you are given 14 days within which to respond to the query, whether it is something that we're asking you to verify your biodata or to confirm your acceptance letter, or whether it is something that we are asking with regard to your means test. You are given 14 days each time. We ask that students please comply with our request for additional information, as this may ultimately affect your application at the end of the day. In terms of the Higher Education Loan Program, otherwise known as H.E.L.P, students can apply for H.E.L.P for support for both tuition fees and non-tuition fees. H.E.L.P is the H.E.L.P applications. The H.E.L.P applications are available for access at any one of the 4 commercial banks. That's the First Citizens Bank, Scotia Bank, Royal Bank, St. Augustine branch, and the Republic Bank UE branch. For students at the UE St. Augustine, the eligibility for funding takes you to a maximum of $35,000 a year. However, you may not always receive $35,000 because there is an assessment that is done, and which is done by a sitting committee, and that is also based on a means test that is conducted by that particular committee. If you also do not qualify for G.A.T.E because you might have accessed the program prior, then you can contact us at the H.E.L.P department, and we will guide you on your eligibility for assistance through the higher education loan program. And for if any student who might have had an incomplete program prior as well, we advise you to contact us at the G.A.T.E office at 800 G.A.T.E or via our general G.A.T.E queries email, gate.info@moe.gov.tt. Thank you very much. And as we go along, I will be available to respond to any questions that you may have later on in the program.
Thank you so very much, Mrs. Lovelace, for always taking the time to share such valuable information with our students. I am seeing some hands raised, and students will definitely get to your questions. In the meantime, we encourage you to continue to place those questions in the chat, and be rest assured that even if you don't get the answers that you may need specifically for G.A.T.E this afternoon, because I know that this is by a case-by-case basis, or case specific, that may require a little more dialogue with some of the officers at the G.A.T.E office, rest assured that you can connect with them even after this session. And so you're definitely in the right place at the right time to at least sensitize yourself on what is expected so that you can plan accordingly. So Mrs. Lovelace, thank you so very much. And I know that you are going to have quite a bit of engagement in the chat. So I encourage you to continue to engage our students as they navigate. I want to acknowledge coming through in the chat some questions relative to fees and payment, and Ms. Howard from our campus's Brsary team, particularly student accounts. I see that Ms. Howard is responding there. So again, let's keep the engagement going in the chat. So students, you've heard a bit about the fees. You've heard from Mrs. Lovelace regarding G.A.T.E. You heard from Mr. Caille about the acquisition of your student ID card. And just to remind you that we are recapping as we've covered the majority of these topics in previous sessions. And of course, we encourage you, as always, to sit with the video content that we have available on our F.Y.E YouTube channel so that you can benefit and that you can go at your own pace as well. So at this time, continuing with the registration process, I want to invite Mr. Garth Jones from our campus's admissions office, who will share with you about that upcoming registration process, which is so very important as you proceed or as you progress right to the start of the new semester. Mr. Jones, over to you.
All right, thank you, Gerald. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to do a very quick recap of what we covered over the last few weeks, especially concerning the registration process. So let us pull up this PowerPoint, 1 second. All right, thanks again, Gerald. All right, so again, just a recap of the registration process. So semester 1, registration begins on August the 21st and ends on September the 15th. And all students must register online for each semester. So it's something that you'll have to do every single semester. Semester 1, semester 2, and for those who are doing summer, you have summer as well. All right, so this is the registration process here in 7 easy steps. Step 1 is access your registration information. The academic calendar for important dates and deadlines. That will be available for you all early August, right? The first week in August, you should have that on the website. Step 2, register for G.A.T.E. Trinidad and Tobago nationals only. Visit the G.A.T.E website, and that's the G.A.T.E website there. We just heard from Ms. Lovelace about G.A.T.E there, so you have some good information. Step 3, attend academic advising. And again, that information will be available in August. Usually orientation and academic advising happens mid-August for each faculty and goes on until the end of the registration process, right? Step 4, select semester 1 or year-long courses online, and you'd log in through the portal using that website there. You wouldn't need to log in right now, only during the registration period, you would log in to check on that registration step. All right, step 5, you enroll in fee pay to obtain financial clearance, and Ms. Howard spoke about that earlier. Step 6, obtain your UE student ID card, and there's the link again. I know the website is down for maintenance, but it should be up pretty soon, so you could have a look at what it looks like and what you need to do. Step 7, maintain financial clearance. All right, so as well as registration, there are certain services available through admissions that you can apply for if it's needed. One of them is leave of absence. We spoke about this before. So if you decide that you want to take a time off for a semester or a year, you're allowed a maximum of 1 year at a time, 2 years for the max really, of leave of absence from the university. And it does not affect at all your fees, your academic status, nothing like that. So you are allowed to take a semester or max of 2 years if you want to, or from the campus. And you can apply for this through something called the O.S.R.S, and you can access that through My Secure Areas. So the same links that you'd use to register for your courses, you can access these services. And the next step you can apply for online, which would be a request for change of enrollment from part-time to full-time. If you decide that you want to, you got a job or something and you want to switch from full-time to part-time for the next semester or next academic year, you can request that online and we'll make the adjustment for you. If you need to contact the admissions office, these are the email addresses that you'd use. Now that you're a student, I assume that you'll be using the first one, which is admis, so admis@sta.uwi.edu. Any queries on application, I suggest use the second email address, which is ugapply@sta.uwi.edu. All right, so I think we've come to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much. So we'll wait until the end of the process or the presentation to give you all some time to ask questions and stuff like that. So hope you have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you at the end of the session.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Jones. And I know that you will be getting some questions coming through in the chat. So we encourage that engagement to continue as we progress through this session. And students, you just heard quite a nice and compact presentation from our admissions office on next steps and some of the key actions that you'd want to take in the next few weeks, and some of the key things that we want you to know as well as part of this process. Registration is a very, very important time through this transition, and so we want to ensure that you take note of the information. We want to also underscore the importance of reading. Yes, so you'll find that as you start this university journey, a lot of things would require self-management. There are times that information will not just be presented, but you would have to take initiative to ensure that you browse our digital platforms. So we want to encourage you to get into the habit of that. So that is being responsible. And so we want to continue to encourage to just browse the platforms that we have, the information. It's all out there for your benefit. So we want to encourage you to read and familiarize yourself. We are in June. Well, we'll be getting into July very soon, but now is still good time for you to really set your plan up as you prepare to start the semester in the next few weeks. Okay, so I hope that there is no anxiety. This is why you're part of Smart Start. This is why you're part of FYE, because we are committed to ensuring that you are successful, not just in your first year, but of course beyond. And a great start is important to that. Okay, so students, we're going to shift gears at this point in our program. You heard some, we did a recap, sorry, of the admissions process and G.A.T.E, and now I'm very, very happy to introduce, perhaps for the first time to most of you, our Guild President for the academic year 2023-2024, and I'm happy to invite Ms. Aishwarya Maharaj, who will share with you a bit about a very important group on our campus called the Guild of Students, to which you belong. So Aishwarya, I want to hand over to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Jarrell, for that wonderful introduction. I have prepared a bit of a presentation, so I'm just going to share my screen. You'll let me know when you're seeing it. So again, welcome everyone and congratulations to your acceptance at the University of the West Indies. We look forward to having you all because, as you all would know from this presentation, you all would constitute the new members or the incoming members of the UWI St. Augustine Campus Guild of Students. So a bit of an introduction to the Guild of Students. So the 2023-2024 Council, who are we? What are we composed of? Who are our councillors that would be representing you? Well, we have our 5 executive members. I believe we have some members from the council here on the chat as well, so they can go on to introduce themselves while I'm speaking. But yes, we have our 5 executive members, myself, the president, the vice president, the treasurer, secretary, and the postgrad rep. We also have our 8 faculty reps. So each faculty has a representative that speaks on the concerns of the faculty, speaks to the students in the faculty, basically represents the faculties. We also have our evening and part-time representative that advocates and represents the evening and part-time students. We have our committee chairpersons. So we have 5 committee chairpersons. Our games committee chairperson that is responsible for all the sporting events and activities on campus. We have our student activities chairperson that kind of has a bit of a interaction with all the fun things that we do as a guild, all the events that will come out, our games night and so on. Our International Affairs Committee chairperson that represents all the regional students and international students that form a part of the UWI St. Augustine campus. We have our National Affairs Committee chairperson. They are the students that represent the students' concerns, the local students here at the campus. And we have our Publications Committee chairperson. And they are responsible for basically all the publications that the guild does, the flyers, the brochures, the pamphlets, and so on. We also have our appointed councillors, so our Gender Affairs Officer that ensures that we are a diverse, tolerant, inclusive UWI guild. We have our ICT chairperson that speaks to the technological issues that students in the guild may have. We have our librarian responsible for archiving and so on. We have our public relations officer, which is critically important for communication between the guild and the student body. And we have our hall chairs. Our hall chairs, they are the ones that would advocate for all the students living on hall. We know a vast number of our members reside in different halls, Arthur Lewis Hall, JGI, Canada Hall, and they basically represent the concerns of students that reside on those accommodations. So, apart from the 2023-2024 Guild, who are we? What is the Guild of Students? Well, we are an association of students at the UWI. All students at the UWI are registered members automatically. So you don't have to fill out a form, you don't have to register or sign up anywhere. Once you are accepted to the UWI, you form part of the Guild, you automatically become a member. And the UWI St. Augustine Guild of Students strives to create a community that is inclusive and supportive of all students. Our mission, as put so nicely here, is to represent and advocate for you all. You all as our members, you are critically important to us. Without you all, there would be no us. So we're here to serve you. We're here to make sure that your concerns are represented, to provide academic support, to ensure there's a holistic university experience, so the social activities that we all have, the cultural activities that the Guild has, basically to enhance the overall university experience, right? So we believe that each student has the right to quality education in a safe and welcoming environment. That's why our council is so extensive. We want to make sure that every single sector of the university is represented. Every student that falls within every population category has someone they can turn to when they're faced with an issue and they don't feel like they're alone in the UWI. Because we know that it's a big shift from high school for the students that are coming straight from high school into university. It's a bit of unfamiliar territory. So the Guild is really here to just support those students and support all students in the various capacities that we can. We work tirelessly to ensure that the voices of our members are heard and their needs are met. And whether you're a first-year student or a continuing student at the UWI, we are here as the Guild of Students to help you succeed. All right, so a bit of history. The UWI Guild was established in 1962. The Guild is actually enshrined in the University Charter, which is a document that was there at the inception of the UWI Augustine Campus in general. And over the time, the Guild has evolved into a multifaceted association. We have engaged in a number of advocacy events. We are there usually at every turn in the youth platform, basically making sure that the UWI is seen, our population, our members, the talents and the abilities of our really diverse and talented population are just represented to the wider society. Right, so what is it that we do? So you heard about who we are, you heard about our history, you heard about the 23-24 Guild Council, but what is it exactly that we do at the Guild? So first and foremost, I want to speak to academic development. Every single student that comes to the university to do a degree. And we recognize that it's a bit different from high school. University life is a little bit more hectic. It's a little bit more, how to put it, autonomous in that sense. So the Guild is really there to ensure that the students are supported. They aren't feeling like they're left in the dust and they just don't know what to do. We have programs, we have workshops, we have study skills and time management classes just to go and help the students. That's why our faculty reps and our academic reps are so important, because they basically provide that kind of liaison, that communication to the students so that they are really supported in this new capacity, right? So, apart from our academic developments, which are critically important, you don't just come to university to study, you also come to experience new things, expand your interests, really find out who you are as young people stepping into the world. So the Guild has a wide, diverse range of social and cultural activities. So we have our Guild Fest. I know the Vice President is on the Zoom, so he probably would speak more about this. We have our Interfaculty Sports Day, our Caribbean Integration Week, and these are just a couple of the many, many activities that we do to kind of diversify the student experience, foster a sense of all-roundedness. If you check our Instagram page, the UWI Star Guild, you'd see pictures from the many activities that we are at, the many activities that we host right here on campus for the students of the UWI. Apart from the social and cultural activities, leadership development. We as young leaders, we want to make sure that you all coming in are the ones that have the skills, have the know what it takes to step into these positions in leadership roles on campus. Because we have 77 registered clubs, we have the Guild Council, and you never know, next year one of you all who are sitting watching me present might be in my seat as new Guild President, presenting to the incoming students. So we want to equip you all with the skills to basically be the next leaders in society, right? We want graduates who are not only academically competent, but possess strong leadership skills. So the Guild also has many workshops, many trainings to kind of support in that capacity. One that I remember really clearly is an event that the Engineering Student Society had last year, where they allowed the engineering students to meet with professionals in the industry and basically have that communication, have that discussion. And it just really did a lot to boost morale, to boost motivation, and so on. So yeah. A little bit of the achievements that the Guild has had in our time. I mean, if I wanted to include all, we would be here probably for the next week. So I've narrowed it down to a couple, but I just wanted, before I go into the list that we have here, I just want to say that the Guild also helps the everyday issues. When someone has an issue with an exam or a class or a lecture, or any sort of issue that we have that isn't so fancy and grand, the everyday issue that affects almost every student that I would argue is part of the university experience. The Guild is right there supporting the students so they don't feel alone. But apart from the everyday issues, some of the major things that the Guild has achieved is advocating for the procurement of more campus shuttles. We've advocated and we've received 4 new shuttles to add to the fleet. So of course, that means transportation is more efficient. We've advocated on tuition fee issues, so giving the student perspective, voicing the student concerns to the administration, lobbying for extended library hours. We recognize that not all students can study at home, that they may not have a place at home to study, and the whole students as well too. They would like some, area where they can focus outside their rooms and accommodations. So we realized that having the extended library hours was critically important. Supporting the students in their matters with lecturers and administration. Again, these are the everyday issues that most students face, that we are there every step of the way, ensuring that you will have the support, you will have the advice, the guidance to, follow up on issues and ensure that your matter is resolved. Ensuring that the student concerns are discussed in the various campus meetings. Again, any issue that the student has, any issue that the student population has, we bring it up to the campus admin. We let them know that, hey, this is affecting a lot of the students. I know a major thing that was affecting students was the lack of lines in the J.F.K. car park. We advocated for that and we got the lines in the J.F.K. car park. I know it sounds small, but it was something that was really problematic for a lot of students in terms of parking. And that is something that we raised to the administration and it's resolved now. And last but not least, I would think not the most important, but something that is really important is providing an exciting and invigorating university experience. Again, we have a number of activities. We do so much events and initiatives on campus. Every counselor throws an event, and that helps diversify your university experience. You don't just come to class and you leave. You have clubs, you have events, you have activities, you have so many things to look forward to when the day comes that it's just overall very exciting. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. Before I end it and invite the rest of the counselors who are in chat to say a couple words or give their take, being part of the Guild Council, I have 4 pictures here. I know it's quite a little bit compared to the amount of pictures we have on the Instagram. So I encourage you to go to the UWI Instagram, UWI Guild, to see more. But we have some pictures from basically what we do on campus. So this is us at the UWI Seismic Research Center. They had their anniversary recently, and we were able to meet with the Prime Minister and the Minister of Education. We also had, this is like pictures from events like Guildfest. So I mentioned Guildfest is a major event in the first week of school, and it's something that's super exciting, super fun to look forward to. These are the island associations coming out representing their island associations. We have pictures from our games night and stuff like that. These are events where students come and, just overall step away from the work and the academic stress to kind of relax and bond with each other. And then this is a picture from Guildfest again, because again, it's a really big, really fun event. This is one of the clubs, the African Students Union, and they're just here displaying their cultural talents and so on. And that really brings me to the end of my presentation. At this point,
thank you so very much, Aishwarya. I am seeing that members on the Guild have been engaging our students in the chat. And I want to say thank you so very much. And of course, we encourage that engagement to continue. So we've heard from our Guild president, Aishwarya Maharaj, who took the time to share such a very important presentation with you. And students, you will come to understand that representation is so very important. And through the Guild Council, your representation is guaranteed. Yes, so your voice is heard. And as Aishwarya, shared with you, there are so many things you can look forward to from the Guild, because when you are coming to university, you'll soon come to find it's quite an experience. And there are so many things in place to ensure that this experience is a positive one for you, that you develop holistically through it, and that, of course, you achieve the goals that you've set out, academic, professional, personal, and otherwise. All right. So, Aishwarya, I'm going to give you a moment to continue to engage with students in the chat. I know that we do have an open Q&A in just a few minutes. So I see the counselors continuing the engagement there. So we encourage that. And Aishwarya, I want to say thank you so very much for taking the time to share this presentation with our students. And students, now is the time to learn more about the Guild, and not just learn more about the Guild, but connect with the Guild. It's a very, very, very important organization to this experience that you will have, and you'll soon come to know as your university experience at the UWI-STA. So I want to, at this time, students, help put some things into perspective for you. For the last few weeks, you've spent some time engaging with us through this series that we call Smart Start, which is part of your orientation. And so what I want to spend some time just sort of sharing with you is what you can expect from first year experience, or FYE, and to help strengthen your understanding of what FYE is. So I want to start with our motivation and our why. So at our campus, we pride ourselves on being a student-centered institution, which means that we want to ensure that students are successful in every sphere of life. And so particularly with the first year experience program, which is managed through our student services team, or D.S.S.D, which is another acronym you'll come to know, we want to ensure that you have a full university experience, and particularly with your transition process, we want you to be comfortable and we want you to be successful. And so what you're seeing on screen, really, we're hoping that you're taking this moment to sort of put it into perspective and understand that this new chapter that you'll be embracing is one of self-discovery. So when we think about orientation, and I just want you to actually think about it for a moment, what this transition process would look like. What you're seeing on screen is a graphical representation of a transition model that we have come to know, and we have sort of patterned our FYE program against, because we understand that transition is a process. So students, it's likely as you go through this transition to university that you will experience different things. And so this is why the FYE program is here to help you. All right, so as you're seeing on screen, there's a honeymoon phase. So you just got your acceptance letter and you're excited. And, you know, there are just so many things you want to do. And then that may sort of shift to a culture shock, right? And then there's the initial adjustment to university life, and some of you may experience some mental isolation. But ultimately, we want you to get to that place of acceptance and full integration into our campus community. And so this is why the FYE program exists. So take a moment and see if you can identify any of the feelings associated with these phases that you're seeing on screen. I want you to know that it's completely normal. And this is why, again, the FYE program exists to ensure that you are successful and supported. So our target audience. At the UWI St. Augustine campus, we have a very diverse student population. We know that students are different. You have different needs, different circumstances. And so we tailor our FYE program to meet those specific needs. So you'll come to appreciate that our FYE program has a targeted approach. We recognize that we have first generation students within our student population. And so we want to support them in the way that they need to be supported. Students with disabilities and medical conditions, we want to meet their specific needs. Our regional and international students, who we're also very happy to have, we want to meet your specific needs. And then, of course, we have our hall residents on campus. So you'll find within the FYE program, we have initiatives that are tailored to meet these specific target audiences. So there are those general initiatives like this one, Smart Start, which is for everyone. And then as we progress over the next few weeks, you'll find that we do have specific targeted initiatives for our student subgroups to meet your needs. And I'll get into this in just a moment. So on screen, students, is a summary of what our FYE program looks like in this cycle. So I'll run them through quickly. We're starting with Smart Start, which is pre-orientation, right? So for the entire month of June, we've dedicated to pre-orientation. In July, you will get a chance to engage in what we call FYE mixers, where we bring you on campus in groups. You get to participate in a campus tour. You get to win lots of prizes. You get to meet other first-year students like yourself. And then, of course, we have the FYE Buzz, which is a very, very cool show hosted by some of our students as well. So these are some of the initiatives you can look forward to in July. Then, particularly for our international or regional international students, there is a meet and greet where we engage you at the airport and ensure that you get to your final destination. And then there is check-in, which is a weekend orientation specifically for regional and international students. So for all of our regional and international students on the call who might just be thinking, oh my, how am I going to make these travel plans? Rest assured, you will get some communication from us very, very soon, where we will talk with you about the specific orientation initiatives we have for you. Our students with disabilities, you can look forward to an exciting orientation initiative coming up in just a few weeks. All students will be invited to matriculation ceremony and UWI Life, both happening a little later on in August into September. So you definitely want to look out for that. Faculty orientation, you all belong to a faculty, and so very soon you will get an invitation for your faculty orientation where you'll get to meet members of your faculty who will take you through different things that you need to know about your academic journey. Library orientation, the library is a fantastic resource and very, very important to your academic success. And so you will come to engage in our library orientation very soon, where you will also benefit from a library tour and you'll be introduced to all of the resources available to you through the library. Ashwari, our Guild president, spoke about Guild Fest, which is a week-long orientation, which is a lot of fun, a lot of giveaways, a lot of exciting events. And so you will definitely get more information on that in the coming weeks. Co-curricular open day, our postgraduate welcome ceremony, career advice program, managing with my finances, and the mindfulness initiative. What you're seeing on screen, students, are all of the initiatives that make up the first year experience program. So when we're talking about orientation, we want you to understand that orientation is all encompassing and it's a process. All right, so it's not one single event, but it's several things designed specifically to support your transition. So you want to look out for all of those initiatives that are applicable to you and those events so that you can participate in it and ensure that you benefit from the first year experience program. And so as we move along, this is our theme for FYE this year. Discover your power, create your future. And it's not just a theme, students, but it's our clarion call to you. We want you to really discover the power that is within you and build on that to create a bright and prosperous future for yourself. We want you to explore this university experience. We want you to evolve once you get here, and we want you to really maximize this opportunity of higher education. Okay, so discover your power, create your future is not just a nice thing to say, but it's definitely something that we want you to reflect on and put into action as you navigate this first year. So what you're seeing on screen is a summary of all of the initiatives that I took you through. And this is really just like a timeline of what you can expect. So you know that Smart Start is winding down. All right. But in July, as you're seeing on screen, these are all of the orientation initiatives that you can look forward to. And from August through November, you can also look out for more information on orientation events. So I hope that you are excited as we are, because we are definitely looking forward to a truly rewarding and high energy orientation experience for you as you get your first year of study started at the St. Augustine Campus. So if you have a phone, you can, take a snapshot of this, but you can also visit our FYE website where you can download the FYE calendar of events. And so as I wind down today's presentation on FYE students, I want to remind you of the support resources made available to you. We continue to say that the FYE website is designed just for you. You are a first year student and this is your website. All right, this website has quite a lot of rich content for you to benefit from. All right, we know that we have different types of learners on, and so the FYE website has something for everyone. There's also a live chat option. So hop on over if it is that you did not get a question answered today, or perhaps something comes up later on. Hop on over to the FYE website, spend some time perusing the content that we have here, the FYE calendar, engage with us via the live chat, and get the kind of support that you require. We also have our new student orientation guide as a support resource for you. This too is made available on the FYE website. So if you have not already, we encourage you to visit the website and download this guide. This is something that you can use for ease of reference as you progress through the next few weeks. Our FYE YouTube channel, we spoke about the FYE Buzz, which will be premiering very soon. And of course, the FYE YouTube channel houses all of these video recordings that we have, including today. So head on over to our FYE YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, of course, and take advantage of the video recordings made available there. And finally, under our support resources, students, we want to alert you to what we call FYE 101. Again, we recognize that there are different types of learners within the system. And so FYE 101 is a video lesson really that you will have access to once you get onto the My E-Learning platform. And it's a self-paced orientation course. You really just sit with the material, you engage with it. It's video. Like I said, you can stop, you can replay, you can revisit it, and you really get to do it at your own pace. Okay, so look out for more information on that once the registration process has officially opened. And so students, as I close this part of the session, I want to leave you with what we believe are top 5 things in your first year, all right? We want you to meet new people and build community. All right, we want you to set first year goals. You have to set some goals to work towards. We want you to create a healthy school life balance. We want you to connect with the Guild and all other offices that are here to support your success. And we want you to embrace your campus life experience beyond the classroom. All right, the fact that your university says that you've demonstrated your potential. All right, and so you are committed to your academic success, and we will continue to encourage that. And while we do that, we also want to encourage you to embrace the experience, because ultimately you want to develop holistically. And so students, I want to say thank you for your attention to this part of the exercise. I hope that this has strengthened your understanding of what orientation looks like at our campus, and we look forward to you engaging. And again, reach out to us for any questions that you may have. So I want to pause here. Okay, so Darian, I see that you have your hand up, so I will give you the floor to ask your question.
Yes, good afternoon. I applied for a national bursary, and they were not awarded as yet. So I wanted to ask Ms. Lovelace if I should apply for G.A.T.E funding before I have been awarded the bursary, or should I wait until I have been received, before I receive the bursary to apply for the funding?
Okay, Gerald, thank you. One of the things that I would recommend to you is that you apply for G.A.T.E funding. This is to confirm some method of payment to the university. The national bursary, the results of that, those students who are recipients, they usually take some time, and you may not receive any kind of confirmation immediately. What I would say to you is, in an effort to expedite your process at the university, what you can do is you can apply for G.A.T.E funding. We will process your application. However, because you cannot receive funding from 2 different places at the same time, once you have signed your contract with the National Bursary people, the SATD, Scholarships Division, and you have agreed to their terms and conditions, and you have provided the UE with a copy of your contract, then what will happen is an internal UE G.A.T.E interaction where we will be advised that you have confirmed that you have accepted, and we will do the necessary recall of your application.
Thank you.
Thank you. Elena, you have a question for us?
Yes, hello. My question is also for Ms. Lovelace concerning fees. So I am one of the students who has a degree already, so I would not qualify for G.A.T.E, right? So I have to pursue the H.E.L.P loan option. I looked at the form, and one of the things that they require in the form is like a list of your total costs that you might expect.
Yes.
So from the fee booklet, of course, I could get the tuition cost, right?
Yes.
But there are other costs like books and administrative expenses and other things that, like, okay, so I'm pursuing a nursing degree, and I know we have to get certain uniforms and certain this and certain that. And
Yes.
I don't, like, my question is, how would I get the information to fill out the form? Because I don't want to wait too late, because there's like an 8-week period I read, you know, and
Yes.
all that. So how would I know the information?
So that's actually a very good question. So one of the things you can do is you can get that information from your faculty, Your faculty generally provides that information to students, and members of the UE may be able to guide you as well, the bursary, admissions even. But when you go to the bank as well, and you're completing the form for the bank, they kind of guide you, and they may very well, please don't quote me, but they may very well tell you, use an estimated figure.
Okay.
You know, so that you at least you will get your application in. Once the committee sits and reviews your application, what they would do is they would request additional information. Once it is required, they would call you in sometimes to have a meeting, or they may contact you via telephone or email requesting any additional information that they may require in order to determine how much money you're going to qualify for at that point.
Okay, and my one more question concerning that same thing is, I know you said the max is $35,000. The tuition for nursing is $44,000. So that just means automatically I have to find the balance elsewhere, right? Yes. Okay, cool. Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. Brandon, we have a question from you.
Hello, good afternoon, Ms. Lovelace.
Yes, good afternoon.
My question would be, I have received in the G.A.T.E status, I show clear and verified. So my question is, I would like to know, do I follow that document to you with regard to the registration process, or do I wait for an updated status?
Well, the university's bursary will be best able to respond to that question. Clearance verified simply means that we have looked at all of the documents that you've provided to us, and we have determined that it has met the requirements in order for us to either approve or reject. So your application is now at that stage at the clearance unit, where one of the investigating officers will look at it and determine your eligibility for funding. So it's just like the previous person was saying, she was a recipient of G.A.T.E funding before. We would look at those kinds of things to determine whether a student will get G.A.T.E or not. So that is where your application is currently at. The university's bursary, however, they would be better able to tell you, listen, you should have printed your application at the point and bring it into them, or they may tell you you have to wait for your means rate to be clear in order for them to tell you what's going on with your status at the university. I would suggest to you that you speak to someone at the bursary and they will guide you. If they need additional information, they will reach out to me on it.
Okay, Ms. Lovelace, thanks.
You're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Lovelace. Thank you, Brandon. Alyssa, you have a question for us, but before we take that question, just to say as well, students, where G.A.T.E is concerned, as Mrs. Lovelace will share with you, it's very case specific. Okay, so you would want to also keep that in mind, that perhaps a direct type of engagement with officials at the G.A.T.E office would be best to sort of better understand your specific needs so that they can guide you along. All right, so you want to think about that as well as we go through this Q&A. Okay, so Alyssa, over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. For the D.S.S.D specifically, how would they compare the hall fees to that of the available off-campus accommodations?
All right, so Alyssa, thanks for that question. We do have a student accommodation office within our division, so you are correct. We don't have a representative on this afternoon, but I will be sure to share with you contact information. I think that it might be best to have a conversation with someone from our student accommodation office who can guide you through that. I know that if you'd like as well, you can access the list of off-campus accommodation, and then you can make that assessment based on what you've seen. So I think a conversation with a member of the team at the student accommodation office would be best. So I will share that information with you shortly. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Deja, you have a question for us?
Hi, good day. When I registered for G.A.T.E, I selected annual by accident. So I want to know if that will affect my acceptance.
Thank you. That will not affect your eligibility for funding. That is something that we can adjust, or if necessary, we will send the application back to you, giving you all the relevant information as to what you need to fix on that application. What you will see is something called a correction required. That's the status you will get, or that's the notification you will get in an email. One of the things I needed to highlight to all students is, please, we are hoping here that those of you who have applied, you have given us active emails that you use regularly. And because that's the main medium that is used to connect with students and to provide you with a request for any additional information that we may require in order to process your application.
And students, again, for the GATE specific questions, you really want to consider that your case is specific, and for those very, very specific things, you may want to, as suggested by Mrs. Lovelace, speak with an officer one-on-one at the GATE office who can guide you through as needed, okay? So Janae, you have a question for us?
Hi, yes. Sorry for the noise in my background. My question pertains to details on login information for our UE emails. Is faculty orientation online? I also want to clarify that. Those are my two questions.
So, Janae, can I ask you to repeat the first part of your question regarding the login, please? I'm not sure that I got that.
Hi, I was asking when would we be getting information as it pertains to our login details so that we could access student online platforms?
Okay.
Because that's a challenge for me at this point.
Right. So if I understand that correctly, we're talking about the student portal, right? Yes, which is linked to registration.
Correct.
Right, which is linked to registration. So we do have an initiative, right? So we do have an initiative called UE Clicks, which you will soon get an invitation for. And this is where we spend some time discussing your access to the student portal as well as your student email. So it's important to know at this point, students, a lot of your access is linked to registration. Okay, so you're in receipt of your offer letter now, but there are a few processes that you that you need to go through before the semester officially starts. One such process being registration. All right, so you definitely want to look out for correspondences from us via email, where we will share with you registration dates, and this is where you're going to go through different steps. And once you've completed the registration process, you will have access to those things that you need to have access to, including the student portal. All right, so if you can just hold on a little bit. I know that you all do have the questions, but I assure you that you're in good time and you're definitely in the right place at the right time, where you are at least strengthening your awareness of what is to come. All right, so we will communicate with you within the next few weeks relative to UE Clicks, which, like I said, discusses your access to the student portal as well as your student email. The second part of your question, Janine, is regarding faculty orientation. So that will commence in August into September, and depending on the faculty that you're in, you'll find that the mode of delivery for faculty orientation may be different. All right, so very soon we will publish those. We do have a preliminary calendar already on the FYE website with preliminary dates for faculty orientation once we get closer to the time, and you can look forward to information on that at the end of July into August, because faculty orientation starts at mid-August. We will let you know for those faculties who will be having virtual orientation sessions this year, and for those faculties whose orientation will be in person. All right, so you can look forward to confirmation on that later in July into August.
Okay, thank you for that information.
You're welcome. Okay, I see we have 3 hands raised. Rachel, you have a question for us?
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, I do. I have 2 questions. One is pertaining to the registration. I know you kind of answered that question just now, but don't we need the student ID to come to register or as part of the registration process? And is the student ID the same as the registration number?
Okay, so thanks for that question. I would want to ask my colleague, Mr. Jones, if he can run us through once again, just to clarify for you and for the benefit of everyone else on the call, what you can look forward to from that registration process. So Mr. Jones, would you mind taking that question for us, please?
So, Gerald. Hi, well, basically your registration number that was issued to you on your offer letter is the ID number that you're using for your student ID. So it's basically the same thing, registration/student ID number. That is the number that I'll be using from now on until you complete your career at UE. Right, so every time we ask you for your ID number, it'll be that number that's, I think it starts with 816, am I correct?
Yes.
All right, so that is the number that you'll be using.
Okay, great, thank you.
On all platforms, right?
Okay. I also have another question pertaining to G.A.T.E. For persons that are self-employed and within a household that they are unemployed persons, what information do you need, if any, to submit for G.A.T.E. in regards to the means test?
All right, I think Ms. Lovelace will have to take this question.
With regard to the means test on your G.A.T.E. application, I would like to tell you, for persons who are self-employed, we need to see a letter from that person, preferably one that is official, stamped by a commissioner of affidavit, and signed or stamped by the organization that the person is the owner of, etc. Apart from that, I want to direct you to the FAQs page of the G.A.T.E. e-service website, which is at www.e-gate.gov.tt, and it will be able to guide you on the documentation that you need to submit on that section of the G.A.T.E. application.
That's regarding the self-employed person.
Yes, there's information on it. Outside of that, I would advise you, if you're still not satisfied with the information that you would have received, please call us and we will walk you through it on a one-on-one basis.
Okay, and also with regards to persons that may not be employed.
We will walk you through that aspect of your question, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Jaden, you have a question for us?
Yeah, good afternoon. I have two questions. The first question is on the offer letter. It's stated to indicate whether I'm accepting or declining the offer via the portal. How do I go about accepting?
Mr. Jones, can I toss over to you, please?
Sorry, can I repeat the question?
On the offer letter stated to indicate my acceptance or declining the offer via the portal. How do I go about accepting it?
All right, you can just log back into your to the application portal, and you should be able to click that you're accepting the offer or not.
Oh, thanks. And where would I be able to find the recording of this Zoom session?
All right, so we will place the link to our FYE YouTube channel in the chat, but you can also do a general Google search. It's the only FYE YouTube channel, so you can simply search UE St. Augustine FYE YouTube, and it should come up, but we'll also place the link in the chat for ease of reference. No problem. Shade, you have a question for us?
Hi, I made my e-G.A.T.E. The application basically I started the process for the G.A.T.E. Number and everything, and they told me that I was supposed to begin the application or submit the application by the 29th, and when I came to the meetings, they said that we couldn't apply for G.A.T.E. yet, but today they said that we can start to apply for G.A.T.E., but now the G.A.T.E. e-service is saying that they canceled my application. Would that mean I would have to reapply, or is it just that I can't apply for G.A.T.E. anymore?
Hi. Okay, so when an application is canceled by the system, or rejected, it's an endpoint for the application, which simply means you have to start that process all over again. Now, one of the reasons why you would have been advised not to apply too early was because of the fact that the GATE process for a student who is applying for funding does not really begin until you really start. You have proven to us that you are actually in the program of study. So, because if you're not in school, and this is something you should all be aware of, if you're not at the institution, there is nothing to pay for. So basically, you would have been guided to apply at a later date. If I'm thinking that what you're asking is the correct thing, because your application might have been rejected or canceled because you applied way too early. You applied at least 2 months prior to the time that you intend to start the program. So once that happens, you are going to receive either a cancellation or a clearance rejection. However, we are now at the end of June, we are going into July. You have accepted fully you have actually accepted the offer, and you are now on your way to starting your program of study. Then you can go ahead and apply for funding. You are, in this case, however, will be required to reapply from scratch and resubmit all of the documents that you would have done on the last application.
Right, thank you, Mrs. Lovelace. I hope that our student has taken note of that information. We have a few questions remaining before we wrap this particular segment. So, William, I'm not sure if your hand is still up. I saw it earlier. Do you still want to direct that question, or was it already answered?
Good afternoon, by the way. I was wondering if there was any scholarships or bursaries I can access to cover my remaining tuition, since I'm not a citizen and would not be eligible to apply for the GATE service.
Okay, what I can say, William, if you may have missed that session, I think it was session 3, we did advise of some opportunities, some scholarship opportunities made available through our division. So I'm assuming the question you're asking is whether those are if there are opportunities available through the campus. I want to clarify that.
Yes, should it? Yes.
All right, so there are opportunities. I would want to perhaps have you chat with a member of our team within the Financial Advisory Services Department to sort of share with you what you might be eligible for and what that process is. So I will send you a message, or you can simply go to our website, actually. So you can go to D.S.S.D is a good search title to use. D.S.S.D is the Division of Student Services and Development. Once you get to that website, you can look for the web page specific to financial advisory services, and you can, there's contact information there. You can always shoot a member of the team an email, and they will guide you from there. But the short answer to the question is yes, there are opportunities, but it would be in your best interest to chat with someone from within the team who can guide you.
All right, thanks.
All right, Maya, you have a question for us?
Hi, good evening. In terms of the H.E.L.P loan, right? Do I need to receive GATE confirmation first and then send in the application?
Okay, that's actually a very good question. In order for you to be approved under the H.E.L.P loan, if you are applying for assistance under the non-tuition or the partial tuition element of it, then they would want to know that you have already been given an approval under GATE clearance. Because the assessment is also done based on the means test percentage that you would have received under GATE. One of the things that is looked at by the committee is to see what percentage you are actually requesting if you are requesting assistance for your tuition. However, it is in your best interest to apply now, if possible, because the process itself takes some time. it would take some time. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks for an actual application to run through the system and for a student to be advised of her status under the HELP side of it.
Okay, and also, would I need to send my fees invoice to anybody in relation to the HELP loan, or is that not necessary?
The bank, when you do the HELP loan through the bank, which is where you're supposed to really submit, they would tell you all of the documents that you need in order for them to now send that application to the G.A.T.E office for administration. So once you chat with them, they will be able to guide you on it.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. And as we seek to wrap this Q&A, I noted that there were questions from Savannah and Janae. I'm not seeing your hands raised anymore. Is it that your questions were answered, or would you still like to direct your questions, Savannah or Janae? Yes, we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Much better. Thank you.
Okay, great. I wanted to know persons that are from contributing countries like the Bahamas, if they are making payments or if they are awarded scholarships, how are payments to be made to the university for the tuition and the other fees?
Sure, Jarrell. Once it's from a contributing country, she needs to submit the relevant documentation to us, and we would process it on our end through the government. So we do that processing on the back end. So the student doesn't have to pay directly to us, right? Unless it's an arrangement where the monies are paid to that student. But ideally, once you have your sponsorship letter, submit it to us and we'd process it on our end.
So that can be done via email?
Yeah, that would be one of your documents that you'd submit to Korah. I'm not sure if you got that part of the presentation, but the information is on the Brsary website. I could submit. I'll place the link in the chat as well.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
All right.
So students, I think that this brings us to the end of not the session just yet, but the live chat aspect, the Q&A, aspect of it. I want to toss over to my team, who would share with you a video premiere of a very exciting initiative we have coming up in July. It's called the FYE Buzz, and of course, we want you to benefit from it. So we are encouraging you to look out for these episodes in July. So team, if we can share with our students that video premiere at this time, please.
Dear students,
what's buzzing? We are back with season 2 of FYE Buzz,
the only show that keeps you updated on all orientation events
and FYE activities.
This season on FYE Buzz, we bring you everything that you need to know to have a rewarding and successful first year of study.
Join us weekly on our FYE YouTube channel to join in all the fun and action as we officially count down to the start of your first semester on campus.
We look forward to sharing
this incredible journey with you
and warmly welcoming you
to the UE St. Augustine Campus. See you there!
That's right. So students, you've heard about the FYE Buzz, which will premiere in the next few weeks. So you can definitely look forward to information on that. And it's very different to Smart Start, right? They are cool giveaways. You don't want to miss out on that. And you really get to spend some time sort of understanding what it means to be a student on campus from our very own students, all right? So it's exciting. It's premiering very soon in July. We are saying join us every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on our FYE YouTube channel and hang out with our wonderful cast of hosts who will ensure that you feel very excited to start your journey with us on campus. So you can look out for that. So as we seek to wrap today's session, just a few things we want to share with you. The first is your feedback is very important to us, as always. You've heard us say it. For those who were here with us for the last few weeks, your feedback is very, very important to us to ensure that we improve on this orientation experience for you, and that we really just sort of take into account all of the things that you need to better position this FYE program to support your transition. And so having said that, I want to invite you to complete a very short survey. It's only 5 questions where you get a chance to tell us what you've learned and how we can improve, more importantly, in the next cycle of the first year experience program. So Mr. Henry, if he has not already, will place that link in the chat. All right. So we are inviting you to copy that link before the session closes, paste it in a browser, and just help us help you by completing or answering the 5 questions in this survey. Okay, so that's 1. 2, pre-orientation has officially come to an end with our 5th and final session of Smart Start today. Remember that you can always visit our FYE YouTube channel to access all of the past recordings that we've had and spend some time sort of better understanding some of those topics. So head on over to our FYE YouTube channel. We already have the last 4 sessions up and live on the channel. And in a few days, today's recording will be made available on the FYE YouTube channel for your convenience. Equally important is for you to understand, as shared earlier, that your orientation does not stop here. This is part of it. So July, we're shifting gears. We spent the entire month of June with you virtually. And I think we can agree that it's time to meet in person, right? So we definitely want to invite you on campus to benefit from the campus store, to meet other first-year students like yourself, and to really just connect with this wonderful community that we call the UWI St. Augustine Campus. So look out for information on our FYE mixers. Look out for information on the FYE buzz. Stay connected to our digital platforms. Check your emails. I cannot say that enough, stress that enough, the importance of checking your emails as a university student. So keep checking your emails. That's where we're going to be communicating with you for now. And of course, all of our platforms are available. So before we wrap officially, I want to toss over to my team once again to share with you a very, very special welcome from Team D.S.S.D, the Division of Student Services and Development. We are very happy. Of course, the entire campus community, we're very happy to have you, and we thought it important for you to hear this message from our director of the D.S.S.D, Dr. Deji Charles, with a very, very special welcome for all new students. So team, I want to toss over to you for our welcome from Director Dr. Deji Charles.
It brings me great joy to extend a warm welcome to you as you embark on your first year of study at the UWI St. Augustine Campus. This marks the beginning of an immensely rewarding and transformative journey in your life. You are now a cherished member of the UE family, and we are thrilled to support you in discovering your power and creating your future. Your first year at university holds significant importance. I assure you that our first year experience program, FYE, which you will soon be acquainted with, will equip you with the necessary tools and confidence to achieve success. Orientation and the FYE program are crucial in establishing a solid foundation for your academic journey. Through the FYE program, you will comfortably transition into university life, access vital information, and be introduced to key campus resources and support services tailored specifically to your needs. Additionally, you will have the invaluable opportunity to meet your fellow first-year students who share the same experiences and aspirations. Together, you can embark on this journey, forge a sense of community, and develop lifelong friendships. Your participation in the FYE program will prepare you in numerous ways and empower you throughout your university experience. We encourage you to get involved and proudly embrace your Pelican pride. On behalf of the Division of Student Services and Development, I extend a heartfelt congratulations to you. We eagerly anticipate partnering with you to achieve your goals and ensure that your time at the UWI St. Augustine is an exceptional one. Once again, welcome to our university community.
So students, the entire campus community extends a congratulations to you on this important milestone. We hope that you really appreciate where you are at in your journey. And more importantly, we want to reinforce that as a campus community, we are here to support you every step of the way. All right. So this brings us to the end of Smart Start, our fifth and final session. And on behalf of the entire team at our campus, everyone that you saw and engaged with today, our guild, members of the admissions team, we heard from the Office of the Campus Registrar, we heard from the G.A.T.E office, we heard from the Brsary, specifically our student accounts. All of our presenters who took the time to be here with you today, we want to say thank you to them. So we are wrapping up Smart Start, and we want to say thank you, students, for joining us over the last few weeks. We trust that you had an insightful and enjoyable experience with us today and for the entire duration of the time that you spent with us in this pre-orientation process. And of course, we encourage you to reflect on everything that you've learned and to apply this knowledge as you navigate this first year of study. Remember that while Smart Start has come to an end, there are still lots of orientation events and initiatives planned for you over the next few weeks. So please continue to engage with us and stay tuned to your email so that you can benefit. We encourage you as well to stay connected with us on Instagram and all other digital platforms, and be sure to check out the FYE website for support resources and key information that you would need. Today's session will be made available for viewing via our F.Y.E YouTube channel, and we encourage you to subscribe for this and more. Thank you once again, students. We look forward to connecting with you in our upcoming orientation events in July, both online and in person right here on campus. Thank you and stay safe, and do have a great rest of the day.
Hey everyone, I'm Shini.
And I'm Epsilon.
And we are your D.S.S.D
Student Champions.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Like our Facebook.
Follow our Instagram.
To stay engaged.
Hashtag
Pelican Pride.